Going on, everybody? This is Eddie C, the Basketball Zombie, coming at you with another live. Today, we're going to be talking about the Summer League, and we're going to be grading some of the players, how they played in the Summer League, and see what you guys think about each and every player, their you know their play in the Summer League. Okay, looks like we're back. Having a little internet trouble, but looks like we're back. Excuse me if we have any like internet interference or something like that. Seems like I don't have the best connection right now. But anyway, we're gonna be here to chop it up with you guys and see what you guys think. I'm gonna throw up the link in the chat just in case somebody wants to come in and chat with me. You're welcome to do so, and we can just talk about some Knicks. Now that we're not going to be watching, there's not going to be a lot of Knicks games or anything that we can evaluate anytime soon for the next couple of months until training camp hits. So let's dive into this situation that we got here going. I'm going to evaluate 5 players. These players are going to be, the players that are most likely on the team or have a two-way contract with the team and have the ability to be on our team. So that's what I want to get into right now. I'm going to start off with Jericho Sims. You guys, everybody in the league has seen Jericho Sims' athletic ability, be one of the best in the NBA even from day one. This guy is an extreme athlete. He's head and shoulders above the rim anytime he goes up for an alley-oop dunk. And, us as Knicks fans, we love it, man. We're here for it. Seeing somebody sky through the air is a thing of beauty. He had an amazing dunk. I think it was the first game of Summer League. Just basically really tomahawked it down on somebody. Again, head and shoulders above the rim, and he did it again last night. Had an amazing alley-oop. I think it was Wayne Selden who found him on the alley-oop, and he made an amazing alley-oop dunk. It was a thing of beauty to see. What's going on, Andy? What's going on, my brother? Yeah, it was a beautiful thing to see him, just sky through the rim. But he has other things to his game. He's a defensive presence in the middle. Big kid, broad shoulders. Has the athleticism, like I said. Can rebound the ball very well. Can position himself very well. He's great on defense, be it on the pick and roll and having to guard smaller defenders. I really can't put my finger on maybe why he slipped to 58. It could be his age. He's 24, so maybe that put a lot of teams off. But he has a lot of ability. I don't see any reason why. Maybe because the draft was so deep that he slid all the way to 58. But this kid has a lot to show and a lot of ability. He has a little drop step in the middle. He shot a 3-pointer. He also made like a little fadeaway jump shot. And these are things that in due time, if we're able to nourish that, he can probably better those offensive moves and become an offensive weapon for us, not just a defensive presence, somebody that we can rely on to be a complete player down low, man. And to get somebody like that at 58, it's a great thing to have. It's still early. I'm not putting any pressure on him. He can develop at his pace, but the flashes that he's inhibited, it's very nice to see, and it's great to have at that low pick 58. That means you maximize your asset, and now he becomes a player who other teams might look at being in trade packages, or other teams might be envious of him being on your team. What's going on, Sam Holt? How you doing, bro? Thanks for joining us, man. If you have any questions, if you'd like to join, you're more than welcome to join on the StreamYard. I really don't know how many people I can have on this at the same time, but if you want to have a chit chat, you can jump in the stream or put the stream in the chat. You're welcome to do so. So yes, Jericho Sims. If anybody has a grade that we want to put in the chat, we can talk about the grade, but I'm gonna start it off by giving my grade of Sims. And this is the evaluation that I'm gonna use on all of these players is if he's a rookie, where he got drafted at. Depending where he got drafted at, I'm gonna put that into the evaluation. If he's a second-year player, the development from the first year to the second year, if I've seen any moves, also draft positioning is going to be part of my analysis in the grading process. So that's how I'm gonna grade these players, and obviously I'm gonna grade them at an A to F status. That's how we're gonna be doing it. So I personally, being that we drafted Jericho Sims at 58, right? Low second round draft pick. His presence on our summer league team, you can see the day that he did not play, the how he was needed on the court, basically, the difference that he made while he's playing, when he's not playing. All the offensive, little packages that he has, little things that I didn't know about him, all that into consideration, I'm going to give Jericho Sims. Let me think about this. I want to give. I don't want to be too. But this kid Jericho Sims really impressed me. So all in all, I'm going to give Jericho Sims grade for summer league. This doesn't really have to be doing with numbers, but on-court presence, what he means to the team, again, draft positioning, the package that he brings to the table. I'm going to give Jericho Sims a B+. Okay, so Jericho Sims, I'm going to give him a B+. I think he's one of those quote-unquote diamonds in the rough, where you can say, we really got somebody. We don't know what he is yet, but if we can develop him, he can become somebody very important in the Knicks organization. So we have options at the position, and we can, do different things. Be it if we need to do a trade, if we need to do something else. He's a very important piece to have. Center position is a position actually of need for the New York Knicks. So I'm glad we have Jericho Sims. Again, I give Jericho Sims a B+ grade for all the things I already mentioned before. And hopefully he'll get better with that. Next year when we see him in the summer league, hopefully he's a better player than he is now, and that'll be remarkable. Getting a player at his stature in the position that we got him in. So I'm going to go on to the next player. I'm going to go on to Quentin Grimes. Okay, Quentin Grimes was drafted by the New York Knicks with the 25th pick, coming out of Houston. He was when he first came out in his freshman year, he was a highly touted freshman. He went to Kansas University with Bill Self, and he he didn't set the world on fire. He didn't have a really good campaign his first year. Um, that could be a number of things. There could be a number of reasons why that happened. It could have been him himself. Could have been his game needed more polishing. Because even though you're an All-American, you're highly touted. Doesn't mean that you're going to translate that to the college ranks and then to the NBA ranks, right? So he had a rough go at it in Kansas. Decided to transfer to Houston with Kelvin Sampson. I think Kelvin Sampson. I think that's his name. I know his surname is Sampson. And he played better. He was there for another 2 years, so he ended up playing 3 years in college. And last year he was in the Final Four with Houston. So the progress that Quentin Grimes has made has been, all in all, great because he had to transfer to another school. He really didn't pop as a prospect, but then all of a sudden you see him in the Final Four. And now we're seeing him in the Summer League. It's kind of the same thing that happened to him in the Summer League. The first 2 games Quentin Grimes played, it really wasn't, that much to write home about. He didn't shoot the ball well. His defense was there. His rebounding was there. But, what he's known for, his jump shot wasn't falling. So he was having problems, getting the ball in the hole. And, I guess it affected other parts of his game, his confidence and stuff like that, right? Very similar to what his collegiate career was. Didn't start off great, but all of a sudden with time, he ramped it up. So here comes game 3, and he's on. They said that he did get a phone call by Penny Hardaway, and I don't remember who else it was, but Penny Hardaway called him and talked to him a little bit, and I guess reassured him, how good of a player he is. Just to be confident in himself and just keep on shooting the ball. And something must have clicked because game 3, he came out on fire. I mean, the kid scored a bunch of points, hit a bunch of 3-pointers, and you can see the progression and what he really is as a basketball player. You really saw it in that game 3, what he can do, dribbling the ball, coming off screens, rolls, passing the ball, rebounding the ball, defending, pretty much an all-around game. So, I was very happy to see Quentin Grimes have such a game because there was a lot of New York fans writing him off already after the first 2 games, calling this kid. There's no reason why we had to trade picks 19 and 20, and then we go and we draft a kid like this. Anything you would like to say about a player that's not producing, right? You start off, by just the first couple of looks, and then you roll off the hinges and you start talking bad about your player and he's not worth it or whatever the case is. So, and game 3, he dispelled those notions. Came back game 4, balled out. Game 5, started looking saucy. Started dribbling the ball, through his legs, giving nice passes. Really gaining confidence in himself as a basketball player. And you saw what he really can be, a legit 3-and-D 2 guard, 6'5", big body, mature, 21 years old, ready to play ball, can shoot the ball. He has a very nice form. When he shoots the ball, it's very compact, shot to the rim. He doesn't waste any motion. Really, really does, and I really don't like doing comparison, but really, really does remind you of Allen Houston from back in the day. His game, his body type, really does resemble Allen Houston. I'm not saying that he's going to be Allen Houston. If he ever does get to be as good as Allen Houston, I'll be very grateful as a New York Knicks fan. But he has the potential even to be better, because his defense it's advanced for a rookie right now. He's going to be coming in, and you're gonna be wanting him to play D as soon as he steps his foot on the floor. So that's very important. His rebounding at his position. So he has a lot of assets to his game that's going to help him out besides his shooting, which is also very important. So if he can get all the other assets and then the shooting, it's a complete package, and you really can't say much about the player. Um, the New York Knicks traded the 19th pick. They traded the 21st pick. They traded down to the 25th, and that's where they selected Quentin Grimes at 25. Again, I'm going to reiterate, there wasn't a lot of people happy about this situation. I looked when I was evaluating the NBA draft. I saw Quentin Grimes as a player that could have been selected by the New York Knicks. I saw him as a late first round pick, and that's exactly where he went. 25, 5 picks within 5 picks of the last pick, in that range. And that's where the New York Knicks selected him at 25. So, with all that being said about Quentin Grimes, I'm gonna give Quentin Grimes a grade. Let's see what I can do for Quentin Grimes. Again, he went late first round. Okay, so I'm gonna evaluate it like this. He went late first round. Okay, 25th pick to the New York Knicks. He didn't come in and light the world on fire. Okay, so I'm gonna also put that into the evaluation. But then he picked it up quickly. He picked it up quickly and started dropping points from 28 to 26 and so on and so forth around those areas, which was beautiful. So his defensive tenacity, his rebounding for his position, and I think he's also an undervalued playmaker. So I'm gonna also evaluate that when talking about Quentin Grimes, and let's see what I'm gonna give Quentin Grimes. I'm going to give Quentin Grimes. I'm a tough evaluator. I'm gonna let you know that right now. I'm a tough evaluator, but I do like a lot of the things that I see from Quentin Grimes. I'm gonna put Quentin Grimes at a C plus. I think it's a little low. But I'm still gonna give him a C plus, being that he was a first round pick. He if he would have came out from the get playing ball like he was the last 3-4 games, probably would have given him a higher grade. But for right now, I'm going to give him C plus, which is going to give him time to grow for the grading process and everything else. I'm going to work, otherwise I love and break down. I agree on the B plus for Sims. All right, no problem, Sam. Do your thing, baby. Let's go, my boy Sim. What's going on, brother? Thanks for joining me, man. Thanks for joining me, bro. We're over here evaluating the New York Knicks. So I'm going to reiterate again, Jericho Sims, I gave him a B plus. Like I said, when I evaluate, is because of positioning in the draft, how they produced in the summer league, and what the packages for the future, the offensive skill sets that they have, the defensive abilities that they have. All that comes into play when I'm evaluating. So Jericho Sims, I gave him a B plus, and Quentin Grimes, I'm giving him a C plus. So right now we're looking good, guys. We're looking good. I don't think you can ask any more for these young kids coming in and playing their first games of NBA action from the get. So let's move over to Miles McBride, aka Deuce. This kid, he did come in and light the summer league on fire with his defensive presence, with his shot making ability. I seen the kid pull up and just make most of his shots. He had one bad game after he had one of those great games, but all in all, he had a very effective summer league game. Played tenacious defense last game against Sharif Cooper. Played tenacious defense around everybody that he had to guard. And what I did see about Miles McBride that I really liked was he scored a bunch of points. Yes, he played defense. Yes, but I saw that he made his teammates better, which is very, very important. You as a point guard, especially as a playmaker, you have to make everybody around you better, and that's what I saw from him as a player in the summer league. Every time that he was on the court, the team picked it up defensively. Everybody got the ball where they were supposed to get the ball, and if he didn't get people involved, he was able to pull up and get a shot. So that was very important to the summer league team, and for him as a player to see that he can do that. See, I got my boy Andy in the building. I'm gonna get my boy in here in the building. And
yo, what up, Eddie?
What's going on?
Happy to be joining you.
Let me get my headphones here so I can hear you a little better, Andy. There we go. You can hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yeah. I got you. Got you.
All
Loud and
right.
clear.
How you doing, brother? How's everything, man?
Yeah, fine. The weather's getting a little bit better, less warm here in Poland, so I'm better in that kind of weather. So,
Okay, that's good, man. Getting good weather is good for the soul. It
yeah,
helps you want to get out of the house a little bit. Maybe do some exercise a little bit. Um,
exactly.
Me, I can't complain. I live in Costa Rica. We have one of the beautifulest weathers in the country, tropical weather. It does rain a little bit in the afternoons, but in the mornings you're gonna have sunshine all day, and in the night it's gonna be a beautiful night and a beautiful sunset. So can't complain, brother, when it comes to the weather.
Exactly. Really nice.
Yeah, man. So I'm glad you joined me, Andy. Um, right now we're talking about Miles McBride. We're doing a grading of summer league. I've already gone through two of the players. Um, I've evaluated Jericho Sims and I've evaluated Quentin Grimes. I don't know if you have anything you would like to say about those two players. Um, I graded Sims at a B plus, and I graded my Quentin Grimes at C plus. And when I'm evaluating, I'm taking into consideration draft positioning. I'm taking into consideration the summer league play, and I'm taking into consideration potential for the future. So those are the three main things, and any other thing that I can think of. But if you have anything to add for those two players, you can go right ahead, and then we can just jump into Miles McBride from here on out, bro.
Yeah. I heard the show from the beginning. So on the B plus grade for Sims, I think it's perfect. Even if you would want to give him an A minus, I think that would be really cool too. Because listen, he was the 58th pick on the draft, right? So basically, guys like that don't stick on the NBA teams even for a minute, right?
Mhm.
He has a two-way contract. I'm expecting him to be with the team for the couple of days that he can get practices with the team and the travels. Rest of the time, I'm basically thinking that he's going to be playing for the G League squad and getting repetitions and experience there, right? From what we saw in the summer league, I think it was awesome. The
Yes.
physicality that he brought down low in the paint on the defense and on the offensive end, he was superior. I'm not gonna lie. I never expected a game from the 58th pick like that. So I'm really high on Sims. I'm not saying that he's gonna get minutes this season or he's gonna be taking Mitchell's Robinson contract next year or something like that. No, I'm not that going ahead. But I really feel that this kid has a future in the NBA, and I hope it's going to be with the Knicks because him being on a two-way contract, he still has the option to if the Knicks don't want to bring him to the main squad, he can go to any other NBA team. So let's hope the Knicks are gonna find a spot for him. If no, I hope he's gonna stick with the G League team, and maybe next season there's gonna be an opening.
Mhm.
So
I
yeah,
think
and mhm.
before we get to Grimes, um, I agree with everything you're saying, and I think it would be foolish of the New York Knicks not to sign Jericho Sims. If you give him the ability to for another team to sign him, I think there's going to be a lot of teams knocking on his door to get his services. So I'm pretty sure the New York Knicks evaluated that and have already put in a plan to where or either spoken to his agent to make sure that they're on the same page. Just make sure the business side is right and everything. But him having a home in New York is going to be very important to the Knicks organization and very important for us as fans because, as you can see, we're very high on the kid. I expect, as yourself, I'm a very difficult evaluator, as I think that you are. I think you're a very sure-handed, straightforward evaluator, and you're not just going to give anybody a high grade, but the things that he has shown it just surprises us enough to where we're giving this kid a B or a B plus or whatever the case is. So, we're very high on him. And I think the New York Knicks should be very high on him as well.
Exactly. Totally agree.
So, and then I also spoke a little bit about Quentin Grimes. What do you think about Quentin Grimes?
Listen, I said it on Tony's Knicks and Bruises show last time I had a chance to be there. Listen, from Quentin Grimes and his process, like we did on the Coach's Corner with Sim, and him going from a top 8, I think, ranked on ESPN in the in the year that RJ and Zion draft, right? He was top 8 ranked in the country. So him going to college and then transferring, I think the lack of the first step, the fast step that allowed him to get past defenders in high school, that didn't happen in college. So that's a major setback. That was his bread and butter in high school. And when you take away the main skill of a guy, just stepping into college, that's a huge problem. And just to plug it in, imagine if it would be then 2023 season when the high school kids could go straight up to the NBA. He could be easily a top 10 pick in that draft, but he wasn't able to even enter the draft. But in 2 years that's going to be a possibility. So we're going to have more variety and wider talent prospects in those drafts, but there are going to be also be more busts. So we got to watch out for that. Going back to Grimes, listen, from what we saw in the summer league, I think the potential is high because I think maybe with even without the first fast step that he can get past his defender, I think the shooting ability, the motion, the form is really good for a college player. So I'm happy with that. We saw in the last 2 summer league games that if he feels it, he can really score in bunches. And he made a heat check like minute and 30 seconds into the game. That was his 4th shot, I think. So listen, you gotta you see the confidence in him, and him being after 2 years of college, I think that's also a good thing as far as joining the Knicks roster. He's not one of those rookies like 18, 19 years old. He's 21, so he can he has a little bit more experience than the really young guys, right? And to be true, Eddie, I think him taking those 3-point shots and creating, he rarely takes a bad shot. So I'm cool with him taking good shots, him having a great form of shooting and taking open shots. I'm really cool even if he misses. Then again, listen, I think if he hits strides when being hot, he can make like 5-6 threes a game. And it doesn't matter if it's college, if it's NBA, because if you're hot, you're going to make those buckets. And I think only things that, Knicks fans were looking for him was like if you would invert the summer league games. If he would score 28 in the first summer league outing, 26 in the second one, we would be, wow, he's a huge scorer. He should be, be drafted like top 10, right? Meanwhile, it was the other way around. I think he lacked a little bit of luck, making those shots because he was taking good shots, just they didn't fall, right? So I'm thinking if he's gonna be a longer process, and I think we're gonna see him in games only in case of injuries happen and someone falls out of the rotation. Then again, it's really good to have a player like that can fill in and know his role from basically day one, right? So I don't think he's going to get minutes over Burks. Burks is too much of a player that Tibbs will trust this season after the last season he had, because he got us single-handedly basically a couple of W's last season with those performances, like almost 30 points and carrying the team when Randall had a bad night or RJ didn't make shots or stuff like that. So I'm thinking, there's huge expectations from Tibbs to Burks, and that's going to mean that only, if RJ, OB, or Burks are injured, that's going to open the, the gates for Grimes to even get a couple of minutes. So, that's me. But, like you said, at this point, I don't think you can give him basically anything more than a C plus, because, the expectations at some point of his career were way higher. Then again, they cooled off a little bit, and we know that he's probably a system player, 3-and-D guy, that if he's going to get the opportunities and he's going to be hitting those shots down, I think he can be an NBA rotation player.
Right. I have a lot of expectations for Quentin Grimes. He showed me when his confidence grew in those games, he showed me what he could be. And I think, he's 21 now, but I can just imagine this kid at 25, 26 years old, NBA ready, with the NBA experience. He's going to be tough to handle. He's a big kid. He's a strong kid, 6'5", and, basically what the NBA is right now is shooting league. He's a shooter. So, I have a lot of expectations.
Yeah, and just to add, Eddie, in one sentence, he's also, I don't know if you noticed it, but he's also aware when he's on the court, he doesn't lose his player like Obi did in his first season. Obi was like looking around, where is his guy to defend, right? We never saw that from Grimes. If he fouls on, for example, a fast break attempt from the opposite team, he knows where to foul if he has someone behind him, so that's not a stupid foul. And listen, I think that those 2 years in college really made him, and being basically the focal point of the team, right? I think that's a huge thing for a player to have. And we also got to take notion, he was took 25, right? So right. It's not like he's top 10 and we got to have expectations as high as, for RJ or whoever, right? So I think this kid has a future in the league, definitely.
Right. I'm going to go again. I already had said a little bit about Miles McBride and what I liked when it came to him. His tenacious defense, his that little pull-up jumper to me is very important. I would like him to become a little bit more adept at getting into the teeth of the defense, getting into the cracks of the defense, trying to find players. I think Emmanuel Quickly is a little bit above him in that sense of getting into the middle of the defense. But all in all, I cannot complain being that we got Miles McBride at pick 36, middle of the second draft. He was passed over by a lot of teams. I have a caveat on McBride as to why maybe he was picked in 36. He looks like he had an injury in high school as a high school player playing college football where he broke his leg. And he had to have pins inserted into his leg. I don't know if that had anything to do in the evaluations for these teams, but to be completely honest with you, Andy, I don't see that being a hindrance because this kid can get up at 6'2". He took an out of bounds pass off the baseline and basically off the vert came and jammed it on somebody. You know what I mean? So this kid can jump. He has all the athletic ability, I think, that you can want in a 6'2" player. And his wingspan is 6'8". Okay, so this kid has major wingspan, which is going to help him defend bigger players. He can defend a 6'5" guard because his wingspan is so large where he can stay in front of this player. So I'm very, very impressed, as is everybody in Knicks Nation, of Miles McBride. Hopefully he can do this at the next level, keep his confidence, because I think if it's anything that's going to hinder McBride, his confidence is in himself as a player, because he has all the abilities. He shoots the three ball. He defends well. He gets other players involved, and that's what I was saying before you got in. He was making other players better when he was on the court. So you like to say something about McBride? You can give him a grade first, and then I'll give him a grade right after.
So just to add to what you said, I totally agree, and I think I might be one of the fans that has McBride really, really higher than anyone else. I have him that high that if I was Tibbs or if I was on Tibbs' staff, I would be whispering to Tibbs' ear, like, listen, coach, We got to put IQ. IQ is going to be situational, and McBride's going to take his minutes. I'm that high on McBride. I had my issues with Quickly, and we saw, listen, if you watch the games, the summer league games, Quickly had outings as a point guard, shooting 1 for 10, 1 for 12, and then making a couple of shots in garbage time. Listen, in Europe, how we play basketball, if you're like 0 for 6 and you take one more shot, bro, you're getting yanked and you don't see the court. Like, not this day. So, for me, going 1 for 10, and I understand a bunny or a layup. That's cool, right? But if you're 1 for 10 and you're still chucking shots from 8, from like a couple of feet, above the 3-point line, that's unacceptable. And I don't think that's fair for the teammates, because everybody hustles on defense. And I don't think, guys appreciate running to offense and then you're going to chuck the ball from basically the logo, right? Mm-hmm. So if I was Tibbs, or if I was, on the coaching staff, I would do everything I could to get McBride, in before Quickly. And I think that would be a fair thing to do, putting D-Rose as the, off-ball guard with the second unit. Because, you don't want D-Rose to lag those minutes hardly, put too much on his shoulders. If someone falls out from the starting unit or stuff like that happens, you got to have that main guy on the bench, right? And I think then is the time when you're going to use D-Rose as the ball handler, as the creator, playmaker, and stuff like that. At the beginning, you try to go easy and see if this is going to pan out. So I would easily get McBride off the bench before Quickly and move D-Rose to the 2. And I think that's really a possibility. And for that, listen, for McBride, I wouldn't be, afraid to even give him like an A-. And, I know that might seem high, but then again, he doesn't chuck shots. He has that mid-range pull-up game. He can go to the hoop, like you said, not to mention his defense. That probably is better than Grimes even. Only thing limited him is, his size, like height-wise, right? Because he's 6'2" or something like that. But listen, there's plenty of guards in the NBA, and especially from the bench, that he can easily, defend and give you solid minutes on NBA courts from day one. As far as I see it, you don't look for him to score 20 points off the bench. If he's going to have like 6-8 points, 5-6 assists, and 2 steals, and disrupt the offense of the opposite team, I think that's cool for for a 36 pick.
Yeah. The what I can say, and which is a great thing, is that Thibodeau has options. I think that's the most important thing that we can say right now, is that there are options. Like you said, we can go ahead and bump up McBride over Quickly. We can go ahead and take a Derrick Rose from the 1 to the 2. We can. I'm not even sure if we can play a 3-guard lineup with those 3 guys on the floor at the same time, having maybe Julius at power forward and Mitchell Robinson or Nerlens Noel at the 5. So the best thing and the most beautiful thing about this is that we have options, and we haven't said that in a long time about the New York Knicks. Salute to you, Robert Parr. Robert Parr says, yeah, Quick got some decent minutes last year as a rookie. Only way McBride gets those minutes would be due to injuries. So Robert Parr seems to think that, for right now, he's going to be riding the pine. But as soon as Kemba, Derrick Rose, and I'm pretty sure those guys are going to get some maintenance days off, he's going to be right in there. So most likely we're going to see McBride play at some point in the season. A quick Deuce pairing in the future could be nasty. Constant pressure on both sides of the ball. I'm not so sure about the Quickly side of the ball. Quickly is more of the offensive punch of the two, but definitely Deuce at the point of attack is going to be a very nice thing to have. I'm going to give McBride. This is a very tough evaluation because everybody is so happy with him. You know what I'm saying? That you can't really go wrong, or if you give him a low grade, you will be going wrong in the eyes of the Knicks fans. But I am gonna give Miles McBride a B plus because he exhibited a lot of the things that we want to see, but it's still just in the summer league. I want to see this kid do that in the preseason, and I want to see this kid do that in the first few games that he gets NBA action. Okay, so for now, I'm going to withhold giving him the A, and I'm going to give him a B plus because I want to see give the kid growth. So the next time that we evaluate them, we can either differentiate how we're gonna if we're gonna give him a lower grade, if we're gonna give him a higher grade. But you can't really go wrong. A minus, I think, is a beautiful grade as well. I'm sticking to a B plus just because I want to be lower than you, Andy. But this kid is phenomenal, man. This kid, you can't really say enough about him. I even like his hair, man. Like these guys with the hair, man. These guys are special. Let me see what we got here. Stephen Fox on the check-in. What's going on, Stephen Fox? How you doing, bro? Thanks for checking in with us, man. So we're gonna go on to the next player. We got two more players to talk about. We're gonna talk about Obi Toppin. All right. Obi Toppin is coming off his second. Well, he didn't have summer league last year, right? We all know that was the COVID-ridden season, so he wasn't able to participate in summer league. Obi's problems have been well chronicled throughout the whole season. His defensive liabilities, his offensive output, the way he meshed at the beginning with Tom Thibodeau, not being able to supplement Julius Randle when he needed the time on the bench. There was a lot of times where Thibodeau had to bring in Julius Randle back because Obi just wasn't doing the job, right? So everything, that's all been written. That's all been said. Everybody already knows that part of Obi Toppin's story from last year. Comes into this summer league, him and Emmanuel Quickly come into this summer league as the leaders of the team, wanting to show the organization their growth, how they've been better as leaders, as basketball players, as other things that they've been working on in their game, so they can become better players when the season starts. And from game one, Obi Toppin flashed what I think would be feasible for his draft positioning, the power forward positioning. He shot the ball. I mean, you're never gonna mistake Obi Toppin for a 3-point shooter, right? But at least he can stretch the floor, right? So he exhibited some 3-point shooting. I think he had a 4 for 6 night, one of those nights. I think he had like a 3 for 6 night, one of those nights, and then the other was a little bit subpar. Athletic ability, we already knew Obi Toppin, the athletic player that Obi Toppin is. He exuded that in the NBA. His post game, we saw a little bit of the post game, taking advantage of smaller players in the post, asking for the ball in the post when he had the smaller player in the post. And besides all of that, to me, the most important part was the leadership quality of Obi Toppin, how he was able to galvanize the other players. And you can see that the other players took a liking to Obi, even though, they could have, quote unquote, outproduced him in numbers or play or whatever the case is. But everybody knew that Obi, in my eyes, because it was Obi and Quick, but I think that Obi was the real leader. Quick was probably more of the mouthpiece, somebody that would direct or shout out things, obviously, because they wanted him to play more of the point. But Obi Toppin was the overall leader of the game, of the younger players on that team. So to me, that was very, very important to see out of Obi Toppin, that he can become that leader one of these days. I think coming into next year, hopefully, I don't want to put a lot of anything on his shoulders because he's a very difficult player to analyze because of many different aspects of his game. But hopefully he can translate that, what he did into the summer league, into the NBA, and we'll be ecstatic having a a backup power forward to back up our best player on the bench who can come in and produce at a moment's notice, and even if we have to give Julius a rest. So, what would you think when it comes to Obi and his grading summer league and thinking about coming into the season?
Yeah, it's like you said. The most important thing was probably the leadership skill that he had, with these young guys on the summer league squad. That's not going to be required on the main roster because he has more experienced guy, older guys, better basketball players. So that's something that might be needed in a couple of years, but it's good that he has that under his belt. And he's probably going to learn about that with the new guys around and know how to carry himself and stuff like that. For me, what I noticed also, and I realized that this is summer league competition. It's not the NBA that with the big dogs, but his defensive awareness is night and day compared to last season. He's way better on defense. He doesn't lose his guy, because on offense, your offensive game can look totally different if you're the main guy compared to just the role player that if gets the basketball can take a shot or drive to the hoop. He was put in a position basically of the main scorer on this team because quickly couldn't make those shots that he was taking. So we can say that Obi was the main guy on the offensive end. But I'm mostly happy about the defensive end from Obi because that means listen, his role on the main roster is going to be the guy that can spare minutes for Julius. Last season he was able to do that for 6-8 minutes. That's why Julius was the leading he was leading the category of minutes played on the court through the whole season, and that was, I think, if I'm correct, by over 200 minutes to the next guy, right? So that's a huge thing if you think about it. Then again, if he's able to spare, for 10 minutes, 12 minutes a game, if it's going to be, if we're going to have a bigger lead and he's going to be playing in the garbage time, right? And it's not going to be the drop off like you said earlier that we had to plug in Julius in the last 2 minutes because the games the score was getting so hot and so close that we had to put in the big guys, right? Mm-hmm. So I think if he's able to sustain that play in the main with the main guys on the NBA court, I think that would be a huge thing, not only for him but for the whole team and mainly for Julius. Even those 2-3 minutes less a game is more energy that you can put in on offense, on defense for Julius. And I think, that role until Julius is on the, on the roster, I don't think Obi's role is going to change much. And, but that's still a role on the NBA team, basically a playoff team. So, he should be happy with that. In a couple of years, maybe his role is going to be, growing. Maybe some, roster changes are going to be made, and he might become, a little bit higher in the offensive, hierarchy of the plays and stuff like that. So I'm cool with Obi. I'm happy. I'm not that happy that I'm going to give him an A. That's for sure. But, I think, his evolution was mainly in those aspects that I wanted him to evolve. So I'm happy with his growth compared to what we saw even before the playoffs, because in the playoffs we saw already improvement, but compared to the summer league, it's a huge step that he took.
All right, yeah. So what do you grade in Obi for his summer league play?
Listen, I think I'm gonna give him a B. Because we saw, even as a leader, he took a couple of questionable shots every game. And I realized that, it's not always that you're going to take only perfect wide open shots or drives or sometimes the ball is just not going to fall, right? But I think a B is a grade for Obi, that he realizes that he still has, ways to go and skills to polish and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So because I think, from Obi, he has bigger potential than the rest of these guys. Not only because he was picked 8 and stuff like that. I think he has every athletic, aspect on his body that's, giving him the ability to play versus NBA guys. Gaining a little bit weight is not, gonna hurt him. He's still fast for a four. If you see him sprint up the court, I think he's one of the fastest power forwards out there. If we would be playing fastball, like those D'Antoni type running game, I think he would be way more efficient. But with Tibbs, it's probably not going to happen. But we need to know that he can still do it, right? And if there's a situation, he's going to do it. So I'm going to give him a solid B, but with place to improve.
And I think it's also important to note that injuries are very prevalent throughout that, especially now that we're going to be jumping from 72 games to 82 games. Maintenance for even a Julius Randle will probably be more prevalent than last year. Injuries might happen where Obi might be getting thrust into the 5 position, into the 3 position. So he better be ready to go when his number is called so that he can produce and he can show what he's all about to the organization and to everybody else that critiques Obi Toppin as a player, because I'm pretty sure he's going to get his time to shine and produce and to quiet all the critiques from the NBA players.
And Eddie, for this season, I think we can easily say that he's going to be in the rotation. I don't see games that Tibbs is going to be playing 9 guys and Obi is not going to get minutes. I think he's basically in the rotation. The question is if it's going to be 6-8 minutes or if it's going to be 12-15 minutes. That's the only question that I see. I don't think there's even a chance that on case of his injury he's not going to be on the court for a whole game.
I have here Stephen Fox says quickly better watch his back. Deuce McBride, he's coming for your game. He's coming for your minutes. Quick. Also have Stephen Fox saying, "Come on, Andy. Obi jumps and leaves his feet on every closeout at the 3-point line." What do you think about? His 3-point
defense?
At least he tries. I think at least he's trying more than he used to. It's just sometimes it's just a matter of luck where the guy makes it or he misses it. But I think he's trying more.
Listen, I think that's still way to develop him in that kind of aspect. Closing out the 3-point shooters, but it's way better than what he did last season. He jumped into people, Steven. So I'm glad he's jumping. At least on the side of them. So.
and he's gotten a couple where he jumps on the side and comes back and blocks the shot.
Exactly.
So at least he's the mechanism in his brain is working where he's like, okay, if I do this, I got to do this. And, I think he got a shot blocked one time doing that. And I think he also bothered another shot doing that. So that's, important parts of hey, if you make a mistake defensively, if you make a mistake defensively, you have to be smart enough to recoup and regather yourself and try to do something else to help him out. I'm also going to give Obi Toppin a B. I exhibited his leadership skills. I think, like you said, he has the most potential out of all the players. He's the only player in that position. You know what I'm saying? Every other player that we have are guards, point guards, shooting guards, wings, and they're all fighting for the same spot. Obi Toppin is there by himself, and he's has the most probabilities of shining because he doesn't have much competition. Instead of only Julius Randle, who's the best player, right? But that's in the regular season, and hopefully, like we say, man, he's gonna be able in a couple of minutes that he has, produce well, defend well, give us a lot of energy, and that's all we can ask for a bench player coming in for those 15. I hope he gets around 20 minutes a game. I hope. I don't necessarily want to see Obi at the 5. I would like to see some of Obi at the 3. I would like to see some Obi at the 3, Julius at the 4, and a mixture of Mitch or Noel at the 5. I think that'll help on the defensive side of the ball in the back anchor. If Julius or Obi gets passed through by their assignments, Yeah, their assignments. And since he can shoot the ball now, he can keep the defensive player honest at the three. And if the three player is smaller than him, he can go down to the post and put some post moves on that three player where, the other team might have to think about bringing in another taller player to defend the Obi Toppin at the three. So I think that's a possibility for us. Again, you went with Obi with a B. I'm going Obi with a B as well, man. And we're gonna go to the final player on the grading. Emmanuel Quickly, aka IQ, aka Quick, aka PG/SG, aka I shoot from the logo, aka let me fix my hair.
Yeah, so, quick release, right?
Quick release, quick shot. Any adjective you want to put after the quick. I obviously left Quickly last for obvious reasons. There's a lot of different ways you can go about evaluating Emmanuel Quickly. I'm going to start off by saying he came out of nowhere for us last year. When we drafted Emmanuel Quickly, I think it was 25 or was it 26? Do you know?
Yeah, something like that. 25, I think.
Okay. So when we drafted Emmanuel Quickly, there wasn't a lot of people that knew Emmanuel Quickly's skill set, what he brought to the table. They might have heard him in the mock drafts, but didn't really know much about Emmanuel Quickly. And all of a sudden, we did the same thing that we did last year. We traded down a couple of picks here, got some second-round picks, and we ended up drafting Emmanuel Quickly with the 25th pick. He came in and basically was lights out for us. Started shooting the ball, making his jump shot in the preseason, right? It only took about maybe 10 games before we started seeing Emmanuel Quickly in the lineup on a regular basis, coming off the bench for us, and exhibiting all those things that came out of nowhere for us. Getting to the foul line, shooting 90% from the free throw line, shooting the ball from three from distance, on the catch and shoot. Basically really playing very well, hitting the floater a lot in his game. So he came out of nowhere. To me, he came out of nowhere and exhibited a lot of basketball know-how, just things that rookies don't know how to do. Emmanuel Quickly did it from the get-go. From day one, he was doing these types of things. So here comes, fast forward from the season, his play. Here comes Summer League, and now we're giving Emmanuel Quickly the added responsibility of now you're just not going to be playing off the ball, being all pretty, waiting for the ball to come to you, shooting the ball and doing it. Now you're responsible for the betterment of the team and responsible for getting players in their spots, responsible for getting players the right shots, and responsible for getting everybody involved on the team, as well as being the leader of the team and exhibiting all these qualities that we think that you can do. Emmanuel Quickly comes out. I think the first couple of games he played up to par, or I believe it was maybe the second or the third game he started playing better. First game, not so much. Didn't shoot the ball that well. It was the first game because we critiqued Emmanuel Quickly a lot on his first game. Then he started getting a little better. He fell off again. Maybe he had a groin injury in one of the games. Didn't play. Last game was a mixed bag. So, with all that said, being the responsibilities that was given to him, the ball in his hand most of the time, having somebody who the Knicks drafted next to him who is a playmaker by heart, you know what I'm saying? A real PG, somebody who you don't have to teach how to play the point guard position, is a natural point guard. The kid just comes in knowing what he has to do. Maybe didn't help him in the sense of when you're talking about evaluating one player against another player. So I think that had a lot to do maybe with how we think of Emmanuel Quickly. He still exhibited his long distance shooting. He still exhibited the getting to the free throw line. I think one of the games got to the free throw line 10 times on a summer league game, which to me is a lot. You're only playing about 10 minutes a quarter. So and he shot the ball 10 for 10. Great free throw percentage, like always. He had a little bit of the floater game. But all in all, it was a mixed bag for Emmanuel Quickly. I guess, the most glaring aspect of the game was his point guard distribution, missing a lot of players, not being able to find these players in the right spots, and that's where we wanted him to do. As in difference, when you see Miles McBride at the point guard position, he knows where everybody's at and can feed multiple players at the same time. It's not just tunnel vision where I'm just going to feed this guy and this guy only. He moves it around. Grimes, Obi, this guy here, this guy there, him himself. So Quickly, let you talk a little bit about Quick and your evaluation. Give him a grade, and then I'll give him a grade and see what you think about Quick.
Yeah, so for me, it's the grade that I'm gonna give him, because it's gonna be a little bit less than everyone else got, but I think it's we also need to look at Quickly from a different angle. He got, like you said, the totally different responsibilities that he played, with the main roster, right? For me, his natural spot is like a Lou Williams, a spark of the bench. You just plug him in, give him the ball, and let him score. Go at it. He doesn't even have to look at the teammates to pass it up, right? Meanwhile, giving him the role of a main point guard and playmaker requires, looking for teammates. He's not one of those guys, and that's not natural for him, as I see it. So it's really not fair to, look at him as a point guard, because I think he's a shooting guard, and only playmaking skills that he has, the best ones that he has is creating plays for himself. Maybe some lobs, but we saw that he was missing guys on those lobs as well. So listen, and to be true, he also the shooting percentages and the shooting, stretch that he was, in Vegas, I think it was really bad. I think we saw, and we are used for him to be scoring at least around 40%. I think, it was a little bit less in Vegas. The shot selection, it always bothered me. I don't like, long range shots and with, no rhythm in the action, or, breaking down the play and just taking up a shot. I don't like those kind of shots. But like I said, I think he had the burden and, the heavy lifting on his shoulders to be the vet on this team, not in his main position. And, I realized that they asked him, and he was like, yeah, I'm a point guard and stuff like that. But if you would ask Frank Ntilikina which position he plays and ask the question like, are you a shooting guard? Frank would be, yeah, I'm a shooting guard. You're a point guard? Yeah, I'm a point guard. Are you comfortable playing center? Yeah, I'm going to play center if the coach wants me to, right? So he's going to always give you the best answer, right? So I think, that was the situation with Quick here. He might not say it, but he's a natural point guard, spark of the bench. And that's the role that I would use him and see him. And the fair grade would be, to see if he's scoring, on those. We got to realize that he also had, basically almost double digits assist games there. He had 8 assist games a game, 9 assists another game. So that's cool. But when you're playing in the summer league, even 30 minutes, and you're the main ball handler, those assists, someone has to get those assists. So listen, and Deuce McBride had, playing like half of the time. He almost had like 8 assists in the first half of one game. So listen, they are totally different players. If I had to, find a guy to get me a bucket, I might be, going with IQ. If if it was a hard possession that never know what's gonna happen, I think I gotta go with IQ. But for my main point guard and ball handler, playmaker at the point guard position, I would go definitely with Deuce McBride. So my my grade for Quickly, it's going to be a C, because I think that he was put in out of position. Because if he would be playing point guard through the whole season before, and he would have an outing on the point guard position like he had now in Vegas, that would be a D. But I really think that it would be fair to give him a D because it wasn't his natural position, and everyone can say whatever. He's not a point guard, so I got to be fair
Um,
here.
okay. I actually thought that you were being considerate there, Andy. Because to be honest with you, um, out of these players here, the most disappointed that I was in
Yeah,
Quickly. I was expecting a little bit more out of him when it came down to. I mean, the shooting is not the problem for me. I know that he's going to be streaky. I know that he's going to do whatever it is on offense, but I really did want to see him put players in position and find these players, different types of players in position, more than what I did. So I was very, very disappointed in Emmanuel Quickly out of all the players that we have here that we evaluated. And me, honestly, I am going to give him a D. I'm going to give him a D because he didn't live up to what the New York Knicks wanted him to live up to. You know, I know he has a lot of potential. I know with the big club, he's not going to be playing point guard. He's going to be mostly playing the shooting guard position, and he's going to be able to shine because that is his natural.
I'm guessing Eddie lagged for a bit. Let's hope he's going to be back. I see also Sim, saying that we're gonna go on the main channel on NBK in a couple of minutes. So let's hope Eddie's gonna be back so we can wrap it up. Yeah, but like he said, he's giving Emmanuel Quickly a D. Like I said, oh, I see Eddie, you're back. Okay, you're back.
Yeah, I've been having. I don't know why. I usually don't have bad internet connection, but today it seemed like it's one of them days. But yeah, I'm giving again Quickly a D because of all the things that I said. I wanted him to do a little bit more when it came down to point guard play, getting people more involved. The offensive side of the ball, I'm not as worried as much, and the D also is his defense. His defense, I think his defense didn't come up to par at all when we saw the young kids coming in and playing great defense. Quentin Grimes, Miles McBride played great defense, and he was even Obi Toppin is playing better defense now than Emmanuel Quickly. So that is part of the reason why I'm giving Emmanuel Quickly a D grade because these are things that he has to get better at. He has to get better at defending his man at the point of attack, and he has to get better at distributing the ball. And if those two things get better, I'll be happy. But for right now, he's leaving a lot to be desired in those things. So I'm giving Emmanuel Quickly a D. I don't know how you feel about that. I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah, it's Eddie's like I said, if he would be playing point guard and I would be expecting him to be playing point guard, with the main roster, that would be definitely a D. Only why I gave him a C or C minus, it's like I think he got put too much on his plate to carry. And I realized that, and I would never, put a player in a position that I could feel that it's not his natural position.
Right.
If we didn't have a point guard on that roster, on that summer league roster, I would understand the move, right? But we have Deuce. We should have just rolled out with Deuce
And
and
Joko.
put exactly. And and listen, and that will be fine with me as well. I wasn't looking to get the summer league championship to to New York, so yeah, I would be cool with Deuce being the main guy, quickly playing the two, Grimes the three, Obi the four, and Sims the five, right? And that would be still a perfect lineup, if you
Right.
ask me.
Yeah.
So I would be cool with that. But like you said, I just hope they're not going to use him at the point guard position in the main season. So
Yeah.
so
We never know what could have been the difference if Kevin Knox would have been playing. He would probably be starting at the three. And these guys, I don't know if Grimes if Grimes would have still been the 2, probably because he was the first round pick. They were probably
Yeah.
going to give him the shot, but that's neither here nor there. I'm just going to give you guys a quick recap of what we did, where we graded these players. Jericho Sims, Andy gave him a B plus. I also gave Jericho Sims a B plus, hoping that Jericho Sims brings that tenacity to the next level, be it in the G League, be it on the big boy club, and hopefully we sign this player for a contract, because he looks like somebody that we should have in our organization. Quentin McGrimes, Andy went with a C plus. I also went with a C plus. He exhibited a lot of the offensive polish that he was doing in Houston, when he went to the Final Four run, and I think he has a lot of potential. He has a lot of potential for the future, and keeps on playing that defense and keeps on shooting that ball. He's going to find his spot, be it with the New York Knicks or on any team. Any team will be lucky to have a Quentin Grimes coming up in their organization. Deuce McBride, Andy gave him an A minus. I gave him a B plus. Deuce McBride, I don't think you could say enough about this kid. This kid is just phenomenal. He's playing at a great pace. I don't see really much holes in his game. He has athletic ability. He plays the point guard position well. He's defending well, and he's hitting his shots, which is very important. I didn't know that he could hit his shots as well as he did. So I'm very happy that, McBride was hitting his shots and had an overall good summer league game. Obi Toppin, Andy went with a B. I also went with a B with Obi Toppin. Very impressed with Obi's leadership skills. This kid is such a good kid. You know what I mean? His personality. He's such a good guy, man. He plays with tenacity. Maybe it's not power, is more finesse, but he plays with tenacity. He gives it his all, 110% on both sides of the court, and that's more than you can ask for. Than a lot of players out there that have all the athletic ability in the world and don't have the motor to go with it, right? So as long as he just keeps that motor running, the energy coming off the bench, and is ready when his number is called, I'm happy with Obi Toppin as my power forward for now and the future. And Emmanuel Quickley. Andy gave Emmanuel Quickley a C. I gave Emmanuel Quickley a D. We already know what Emmanuel Quickley is. He's a microwave type player. He's going to come off the bench. He's going to give you about 10 points, maybe in the first half. You know what I'm saying? So you never know what you're going to get for Emmanuel Quickley. He might have one of those big outputs where he'll score you 30 points in a game, and we win the game because of Emmanuel Quickley. I do have some reservations about his defense. He has to get better defensively for me, and see the floor a little bit better, man. Just see the floor a little bit better would be a very big uptick for me as evaluating him from this point on. Anything you want to say before we head out, man? Anything you want to?
Yeah, I want to invite all you guys to NBK, because me and Sim are going to be doing an episode just as we wrap this show up. I'm going to be joining Sim on the topic of important dates this next season. So, if you have the time, just hop on with us and let's run it through.
Yeah, I'll be there for sure, supporting you guys. I appreciate you, Andy, for coming in and helping me evaluate this Knicks roster, man. Thanks a lot, bro.
Was a pleasure, Eddie. Hope we can do it sometime, in the next couple of days. So
for sure. It's going to be a long time before we have anything that we can evaluate. But, as content creators, we should be thinking about things that we should talk about and what should do. Basically, this is the grind time. This is where we grow. And hopefully I'll be, thinking about things to come up. And when you have the time, I'll be glad to have you, bro. You're very welcome in the Basketball Zombie podcast, bro. Thank you very much. For now, we're going to sign off. This is Eddie C, the Basketball Zombie, with Andy N. Thank you very much. Subscribe, like, share. Please like the channel. And we'll see you next time, guys. Take it easy. Peace.